Hello. We have been studying the mitzvah Shmitas Kesafim. We finished, of course, the halachas of Shmita concerning the land and the kitchen and so on. Shmitas Kesafim, the release of debts in the Shiur. We learned the psukim on it and a little bit of the Mefarshim, the commentaries on the verses. Now, the Sefer HaChinuch was written as a bar mitzvah present by Rabbeinu Aaron mid Barcelona. And it goes through parsha by parsha, all of the mitzvahs that are found in that parsha, and very basic definition of the mitzvah, the halachos, and the rationale. So, in fact, by Shmitas Kesafim, the Sefer HaChinuch says there are two mitzvahs. The first one, mitzvah Tav Ayin Hey, 475, Shelo litboa halva she'avra aleha shvis, that you cannot claim a loan back that the Shemitah year has passed over. And basically he says very little on that mitzvah, and he says, look in the next mitzvah. The next mitzvah, the two mitzvahs later actually, mitzvah Tavai and Zayin. He says, mitzvah Tashmatis Kesafim b'shnas hashvis. This is the mitzvah to release people from vows during the sabbatical year. So he writes, Lazova chozos b'shnas hashmita, to abandon the debts in the Shemitah year. And about this it says, Achicha teshmet, everything that you have, meaning all the money of yours that is in your brethren's hands, it should be released from him. And this warning we're told about several times. It also says in the same parsha, and this is the matter of the Shmita, Shemot kol bal maseyedo, that he will release everything that his hand is holding against his friend. V'amru b'tosefta, and we said in the Tosefta b'shei Shmitos ksubedaber, there are two different Shmitas. Acha Shmitas karka, v'acha Shmitas Kesafim. One is the release of the land, meaning we don't work the land this year, and the other is we release the debts. And I'm going to skip the part where he deals with the various halachos of this mitzvah. We'll get back to them later, next Shiur. And he says, Kfar kasavti, I've already written, meaning when he has already talked about the mitzvah of Shmitas Karka, of letting the land lie fallow, and the rationale for it. Ma shiyadati b'shor HaMitzvah, what I have known to be the basis of this mitzvah. V'shmitas Kesafim gam ken achar oso etam nimshach, and the release of debts follows the same rationale. L'lamed nafshenu b'midos hamalos midas hanedivos v'ayin hatov, that we should acquire good character traits, the attribute of being giving, generous, and having a good eye, meaning open to people, and that we should have great faith. It should teach us faith in HaKadosh Baruch Hu, in the Holy One. And then we prepare our souls to receive what is good. From the Master of all, and this includes the blessings and compassion. V'gam nimtza mizeh geder chazak u'mechitza shel barzel lehisrachek min hagezel u'min hachemda b'chol asher l'ra'enu. And we learn from here with a partition of iron to stay away from all theft, and for desiring that which our friends possess. We should have a kal v'chomer, meaning if in a lighter case it's true, it's surely or true in a more serious case. Afilu helvitiv moni v'giash nasa shmita amrator lashmit biado hamalve. If I had money and I lent it to my friend and the Shemitah year comes by, I'm not allowed to receive it back. Therefore, shelo ligzol v'shelo lachamos, I should not steal, I should not act in a corrupt way, Mishalo, of what was actually his. Lo kol sheken, all the more so. Shiroi li lihitrachek ad ketzeach haron, that I should separate from this to the extreme limit, meaning what is mine I can't claim back after the Shemitah, or what was mine, I should say, I can't ask for its return after the Shemitah year. All the more so, what was not mine, I shouldn't have any desire or feeling or attachment to. I should stay away from it entirely and not have any idea of stealing something or desiring something that isn't mine. This mitzvah occurs from the Torah, both in the Eretz Yisrael and any other place in the world. Bisman she'yovel noheg, as long as the Jubilee applies, and that means that the majority of Israel must be living in Eretz Yisrael with a temple and so on. B'sacharim v'nikevos, with both men and women. Aval medivrei sofrim noheges shmitas kesafim afilu bisman hazei afilu b'kol makom. But by rabbinic legislation, the release of debts occurs in our times and in all places. Kadei shelo tishkach Torah's hashmatas Kesafim Yisrael, so that we should not ever forget the idea of the release of vows from the Jewish people, the release of debts from the Jewish people. We should always remember that we should act in this way, in the generous way. Now, the Minchas Chinuch is a commentary written about 500 years after the Sefer HaChinuch was written, on the Sefer HaChinuch. And he writes on our mitzvah, someone who asks for a debt back after the Shemitah is passed, he has transgressed both a positive and a negative commandment. Not only this, have afkata de malka, that God has declared it, the debt, ownerless. We discussed with the land whether I have to declare my land ownerless or God has declared it my land ownerless. But here he's saying that in terms of release of the debt, it's God saying the debt is released. There is somewhat a debate. Some people say that a person has to say, I release the debts. But that would be the same debate as we discussed previously, so I'm not going to discuss it in depth. De'achov nafka, move up a Gemara. The debt is released, as the Gemara says. It's Sarich Lomer, but Masnisin anino sen lecha ki achov nafka mimila. He says, I'm not giving it to you because the debt has automatically, in and of itself, been released. Vafim nosin lo b'ratzon hatov, and even if the person who borrowed it wants to return it to him, enu moel, it doesn't help. Ki kavar nafka, because the debt has already been erased. V'kol kol pi im Taamei b'gora, and you will see this if you look carefully in the Gora. V'imkan im yesh lecheres shota v'katan maos. If a deaf mute, a crazy person, or a minor has a debt, now they're generally not bound in mitzvahs. So if you say the mitzvah is to release someone from their debts, they have no obligation to release the debt, and therefore the debt should be collected by their guardians. However, if you say it's afkata de malka, that if it's God declaring it, the debt is released, then even for these people who are not completely competent and therefore are not bound in mitzvahs, you would say that the debt couldn't be collected. Kagon birusha, they have something that they inherited, or b'schar pula, or they earned, v'lavu le'achad, and they lent it to someone. V'avar shmita, and the shmita year passed. Afal pi she'enim b'nei mitzvah, even though they don't have an obligation to keep mitzvahs. Mikol makom nechlat achov, nonetheless, the debt has been released. Ki hu afkata de malka, because this is God's releasing people from the debt and nothing else. We will leave it to here and pick up more aspects. We will have a quick summary from the Sefer HaChinuch next time as to what are the basic halachos of the Shemitah year and some other questions surrounding it concerning the monetary aspects of Shmitas Kesafim. Everyone should have a wonderful day.